This car that I have behind me is definitely not one for the faint-hearted because it is the distillation of what is truly a driver's car. It is sharp, it is precise, and it is a Lotus Exige S V6. And we are going to be checking out how precise is this car and how much would you give away practicality for the sheer love of driving. This is a low car, there's absolutely no doubt about that. I'm practically lying next to the car and the headlamps are eye level. So this car is just wide and low and it looks fantastic. The front end of the car is peppered with new stuff that makes it look very today. For example, the LED strip in the headlamps and the wide apertures and also the rakish front windscreen. It all lends to an air of sophistication and modernness in a car that is essentially in design quite as old as the first gen Elise. But this is a thoroughly modern car and the front end just screams that. Alright then, the dimensions of the car tells you that it's a Lotus and it's a sporty Lotus. Alright, let's talk about the dimensions. It sits at 1,153 millimeters tall. It has 1,802 millimeters of width and it sits at about 4,052 millimeters long. So it's a wide, low and long-ish car. And this is for one reason only again, and it is to ensure that this is a very, very sporty car. Now, to add to the sportiness, Lotus has added 70 millimeters to the wheelbase, and in fact, the car has grown by about 300 millimeters in length as compared to the first gen of the Exige as well as the Elise. And this car also has wider front tracks. So these are some of the changes in this newer Exige S. Now, if you want to look at the equipment that you get with this car, you are definitely going to be very happy with it because not only you get a great handling car, the great handling is thanks to the set of built-in dampers all around and also the AP Racing brake kits that comes as standard with all these cars. If you were to opt for the race pack, you will also get very, very sticky P0 Trofeo Pirellis rubbers all around. In fact, in this car you get 205, 45, 17 Advan Nova Yokohama tires up front, and at the back of course we can expect wider tires at 265, 35, 18 Yokohama rubbers up front and back. You of course have options that you can play around with, but in my experience with this setup, it's already a very, very sticky car. In fact, you got to know how to handle it for you to make the best out of this car. Guys, you know what? In all honesty, my favorite part about driving a Lotus is the fact that it's rarer than any other sports car out there. Therefore, you park it here in 2 minutes, you get a crowd coming over to take pictures of this car. Now, if they hear that this car is not very practical, I'm sure they'll be running away in droves. But you know what? We don't buy a Lotus for practicality. Nonetheless, this particular Exige S comes with a boot. Can you believe it? It has a boot. It's not very big, but it's enough for you to put your shopping in, and it's just nice lah. Just don't put your ice cream in there because it is literally situated next to the transversely mounted V6 3.5 litre engine, which is sourced from Toyota. And it can get pretty hot in here despite the fact that it has its own lining with its own rubber lining and all that. But that's as far as practicality goes for the Lotus. The Exige comes with a very beefy rear wing, and you'll be very thankful for it if you were to take this car up to speed, especially when you're doing the corners, because this really helps to stick the car's tail down. Because otherwise, the lightness of the car, Colin Chapman has ensured that it will fly unless aided. So the lightness of the car is really helped with this rear wing, and it really makes the driving a lot more accomplished. Now, if you're looking at the rear fascia, it actually looks very different from the Elise, and that's a great thing because otherwise it's very difficult for people to differentiate the Lotus cars apart from the Evora from the front. So the back, it tells you immediately that we are looking at an Exige, and this particular iteration is the Exige S. Okay. As I was saying, this car is all about the performance and the driving, so we are going to be taking it for a spin around Putrajaya sedately, but we're going to try and see how bonkers this car can be given the situation that we're in right now. After all these people take photos now. You know how at the very beginning I said that this car was not for the faint-hearted? I really was not kidding, because really this is a pure distillation of driving. This is for the people who love driving, bar none, and nothing else. Seriously. You know why? Several factors. Number one, this car does not communicate to you, it shouts to you. The steering shouts to you, it tells you and it screams at you and tells you about every single thing that's happening underneath it. It twitches along with the surface of the road. It makes you feel nervous if you do not know what it's saying to you. It is precise, it's super sharp, and it is so sticky. From where you are sitting in the driver's position, you will see two lines up front, which is the top of the front humps. The top of the humps tells you exactly where the center of each tire is, so you know exactly where you're pointing your car towards. And then there is no noise cancellation inside here, unlike the Evora, which is meant to, you know, go touring and stuff like that. This car is supposed to let you hear everything that's happening. So it is not quiet, it's very loud, and you can definitely hear every single gravel that hits the top ceiling of the wheel arch. You can hear the wind whooshing through the intakes at the back of you. You can hear every single thing, and that really perks up your senses. And then there's the whole driving position. The pedals are not ideal, it is skewed towards the left a little bit, but you know what, once you start going, everything about this car becomes an extension of you. The Lotus Exige S is quite literally just half a level up from being bare bones. I kid you not. It's very Spartan inside here, and you only get the very bare stuff that you barely need. Air conditioning, radio to keep you entertained, not that you can hear much of it, and also, yeah, that's pretty much it. This interior is meant to do one thing only, and it is for you to sit in whilst you rocket yourself around the streets of whichever city that you live in. It is a very precise machine, and it's completely raw. Yes, you do get Alcantara, but wow, one slab over here, one on the middle console, and another one on the other door. That's it. The seats are leather. You don't get any recline function or anything like that. You can just move it forward and backwards, and that's only for the driver's seat, not even for the passenger seat. And that's pretty much it, man. Seriously, even the side mirrors, you have to adjust them manually. This car does not discount the fact that it is just so very raw. It's not power assisted at all. This is, you know, Kanchel 1990 kind of no power at all. And whilst you are moving slowly or when you're parking, you'll be thinking, oh my god, it's so heavy. But you know what, when you get up to speed, you are glad that it is not power assisted, because it is just a very solid mechanical feel that this steering gives you. It's very small. If only it was slightly bigger, probably you'll have less you need to use less force. But seriously, if it was any bigger, it would get in the way. Like I said, the seats only front and back. The steering do not have any controls at all whatsoever. And then this car does not have any sound deadening. It is loud. That's why I said the radio is quite redundant. It is very loud. You can hear every single pebble that hits the ceiling of the wheel arch. You can hear the wind whooshing into the intake behind you. You can hear every single thing around you, and that makes this car, it's not bad, you know. It's not a bad thing. It's actually, when you buy this car, you think you're gonna have all that, and that's just, it adds to the flavor of the car. And if you think that the exhaust is not loud enough, there's a button right here to make this exhaust even louder once it opens up the valves. Driving wise, the 6-speed gearbox is just so precise. It shifts into place with so much precision that it's a joy to use, except for the 6th gear. Personal, small little niggle, I feel that the 6th gear, it just does not slide into place as confidently as the other gears, but that's okay lah. You do get 3 driving modes to choose from. Tour is the regular, as regular as you can get from this car. Then you've got Sport, which basically quickens everything up, and then you've got Race, which basically quickens everything up and takes away all the electronic nannies. It is just you and the car. Not that you have much of a car to deal with, but this car can become very you can misbehave this car, like that. My god, this car is just, seriously, if you love driving, this car is it lah. No pretensions of Cayman car or any other car. If you are really a driver, you will love everything that this car does for you. The preciseness, the power delivery, this Toyota engine is indefatigable, and so are the brakes, and the steering just does not stop carving a grin on your face because it is just so precise. It is just sanctimoniously brilliant. Let me be very clear, this car is far from being perfect. It has slight niggles here and there. The questionable quality of some of the materials used is definitely one thing to consider. And then, considering the price it's sold at, the people who can afford this car will probably find it slightly challenging to get in and out of the car. One word, acrobatics. However, again, if it's a driver's car that you're after, very few can definitely give you this kind of satisfaction that this car can. And at this price, definitely it's peerless. It's sharp, it's precise, it rewards you thoroughly if you enjoy pushing it hard, and push it hard you will all the time with this Lotus Exige S.